I want to start with
The RAD Live podcast is intended for mature audiences and contains explicit language. Listener discretion is advised.
Oh. I am your host, Paul the Hat Guy Flinders, with a now unmuted microphone. It's me, THG, Paul the Hat Guy Flinders. Man, did I fuck that up. Oh, dear me. It's only taken me 47 episodes just to muck that up. Oh, well. Oh, anyway, try again. I am your host, Paul, the Hat Guy Flinders, and joining me this week we have the lost one himself, Adam Cox.
Fuck's sake.
Oh dear. And also joining us this week, we have the almost Scouse one, Lewis Ogden.
I'm back to having a full voice, and hello everyone.
Hello. We'll turn that intro off. Well, yeah, you're now not sounding like Kane from the Attitude Era, which is which is a good thing. I mean,
well, no, Kane from the Attitude Era would still have more of a voice than I had. So
This is true.
You know.
Yes, because if I win the championship, I will set myself on fire.
Suck it.
Yeah, properly. Well, you gotta put the hand to your neck and then go, if I lose the match, I will set myself on fire.
If you've ever read Journey into Darkness or listened to someone give a review on it, you'll know I mix the right amount of chemicals to get myself going.
Mean alcohol. He means alcohol.
Well, alcohol could be something else. I don't know. I was just given what Paul Bearer was cooking up, so.
Mega malt, that's what it was.
Was it fuck?
Buckets of boiled up, condensed mega malt. That's what it was.
Mega malt. Fucking mega malt toddy.
Mega malt toddy.
I'd rather have ground up fucking sea urchins wrapped together in frigging crude oil than frigging mega malt. Fuck that.
Jeez. Oh dear. But yeah, speaking of taste tests, later on we have a something different. Normally I do drinks and things like that. When was the last time I actually tried something that was warm? It was a lot.
Was it that meatball dish?
It could have been. Oh God, that's going back like a year and a half now, something like that.
It's going back ages ago.
Yeah, it was the meatball dish of death given to me by Mother Dearest. It was, yeah. At least
I think that's what it was. I don't know. My memory's never been that great, so.
Mine wasn't right after that. Still traumatised trying to block it out.
Oh yeah.
You've not had something more recent. I'm sure you've had something hot recently, like the past 5 episodes or so.
Possibly. I don't know. I know I've had lots of weird drinks. I mean, I'm tempted to go back to trying the what do you call that, birch water, because last time I tried it, I wasn't well. So it's just one of those. But yeah, I keep seeing it. I look at it and think, you can tell I'm on a bunch of it. 99p? Are you sure? But yeah,
I can only get it for 57.
Exactly. I am tempted to give it another whirl now. My taste buds are actually, can taste something more than cardboard. So it's one of those. But yeah, I do have something nice and warm and tasty to try, which I will be preparing hopefully in the advert break if it doesn't take too long. If so, I may have to hand the reins over to one of you two while I sort it out. But I'm pretty sure you two are capable of that. So, but yeah, on that note,
So.
Lewis, what have you been up to, fella?
Since the last podcast, obviously, straight after we finished, we went and saw the midnight screening of Avengers Infinity War, which I'm sure we'll get onto in a little bit.
We shall.
The following day, my voice was completely gone. Absolutely completely gone, to the point where I could only talk in whispers. I've finally gotten around to start planning on stuff to completely redecorate my room. So I've had my window sized up. Should be getting a new one put in within the next 2 weeks.
Nice.
Also been on a trip to IKEA to sort of like get ideas, because one of my walls that I'm sort of like looking towards now is like massive in length. So looking at the possibility of getting like full wall-to-wall wardrobes.
Wow.
Yeah, why not? See, what else have I been up to? Liverpool Football Club got through to the finals of the Champions League, which I'm very, very happy about.
I was about to
Fuck
say
you.
only just, but not quite only just, because really the last goal went in literally the last kick of the game, so...
And even then, it wasn't a penalty. But to be honest with you,
It was
they
harsh.
should. They
It was harsh.
It was very harsh. But to be honest with you, they had a shout of a penalty. We had a shout of a penalty. So I prefer to look at it as sort of maybe like a 3-2 win for Roma. But I don't really care, because we're into the final.
Yeah.
And we're going up against a Real Madrid side that haven't really been setting the world on fire. So if there's any time to sort of like win against Real Madrid, it's now. So I'm
Yeah, absolutely. I do think we've got half a chance. Coxie, what do you think?
Oh, I really don't care.
It's all right, Coxie. There's probably stuff that you care about greatly that I don't, to be honest. So I don't take it to heart. And what's the other thing? Oh, our good buddy Matt has lent me a new PS4 game for me to try, and I've been smashing away at that.
Ooh, indulge.
It's called Yakuza Kiwami.
Ooh.
It's basically it's a Japanese sort of mafia game.
Yeah, mafia.
Yeah, so it's basically the whole concept. You are a disgraced former member of the Yakuza, and a shitload of money go missing, and it's sort of like there's people that you know quite close personally that are suspected in taking the money, so you've got to basically try and get to the bottom of it, and it's very, very fun to play. And I only really started playing this because the latest one, which is Yakuza 6, came out, and I have of note because there are certain codes that you can put in where certain New Japan Pro Wrestling wrestlers show up in the game, which is quite cool.
I heard
Matt's
about
got,
that.
yeah, Matt's going through.
About that. I wasn't sure which game it was, but I certainly heard about something. I don't know if it was mentioned. Was it Wrestle Kingdom or something like that? Something was mentioned about that.
I'm not sure. I saw a link, sort of like
Sorry, yeah, I think about
giving out the codes on Twitter. I think I might have linked it in the group chat. I'm not sure. But yeah, Matt's a big fan of it. He's got me into the series, and there's another one. There's like a prequel to the one that I'm playing right now that I have to play before I go through Yakuza 6.
Yeah.
So I'm very much looking forward to playing that, but I'm also having an absolute blast playing this current one that I've got at the moment.
Yeah. See, I'm gaming wise. I mean, I've literally been. I'm one of these guys that will not play the most recent FIFA because the games fucking blend into each other. So I tend to go for the one behind. So say, for example, FIFA 18's out at the minute. I went and bought FIFA 17 for a fiver. So, I just play it that way. Everything's still online. All the online features are still, going. So, fuck it, play it and save myself a few quid. I'm not forking out 40 odd quid for the same game over and over again.
You're a bigger man than I am, because I just stopped playing the FIFA games, to be honest with you.
They're a guilty pleasure with me. I don't play the online mode at all. I play the career mode.
Yeah.
And what I tend to do is try and get as many youngsters into the first team as possible. So at the minute I have Liverpool, and at the minute I have a Japanese goalkeeper, which I managed to scout and play up at the minute. I've had him since he was like 50-odd skill. At the minute he's sitting on 78 in 2 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, just basically training with that guy. And I really enjoy it. It's a secret, like I say, it's a secret sort of pleasure for me. I mean, I don't know what it is. I've always enjoyed sort of 40 games. I've always, like, one of my favourite games of all time is, funny enough, is ISS 64. But
on the Nintendo 64.
Yeah, it was like a...
Oh, yeah, that's one of my favourites ever.
Yeah, it's just fun. I don't know what it is. The game's just fun. And I don't know, I've always enjoyed football games. I'm a sucker for football management games, but not the management games that most people think of. People play things like Champ Manager or whatever it is now, Football League Manager or whatever the fuck it's called. Manager. I think it's just called Football Manager nowadays.
Yeah, it's Football Manager. I've got it on my laptop, and I go back to it every now and then.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, the one I go back to is Total Club Manager 2004. I always play that, and I love it. I don't know why. I just love the game. The game's got mediocre reviews, but I love the game. Don't know what it is. I mean, I love setting up my own club and bringing them up from non-league and, right all the way up through the leagues and straight through and things like that. I think the best I've managed to do was get a team mid-table in the Championship before I got bored. So, it's good. I enjoy it. I don't know. Coxie, what have you been up to, fella?
Well, I watched Avengers for you guys.
You did?
Had my uni interview, which from the sound of things, I'm not getting into this year. But
they're fucking lost.
If there's a plan, there's always a plan B.
There's always a plan. There's always a plan B, and if there's not the plan B doesn't work, then plan C, plan D, plan D. We've always got a plan.
Oh, yeah.
We always get there, one way or another.
Yeah, so other than that, just working. I'm currently now on a bloody 8-day stint.
Fuck that noise.
Yeah, but I'm going away next Friday to London till Tuesday, so it's not too bad.
That's all right. Put some feet up a bit. Not that you there. You won't be doing that. I'm there. I imagine you're doing shit. So.
Oh yeah.
So yeah. So what is there anything you could indulge in? What you're up to in London?
Well, I'm off to see the man whose album I picked up yesterday. It got delivered. I'm seeing Frank Turner.
Jammy bastard.
Well, not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 4 times.
You've seen him. You've seen him 4 times in London.
Yeah, essentially, it's a mini festival that he started last year called Lost Evenings.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's at the Roundhouse in Camden, but he plays every night, but he does a different thing every night. So,
is that night one set list?
Yeah, so night 1's greatest hits. Night 2 is a full playthrough of one of his albums. Okay. Night 3 acoustic solo set, and night 4 is like all his label mates off the label. Like there's him and them on, like doing like a big show together, sort of thing.
That sounds fucking awesome. Actually, that really sounds like a great idea. I think he's on to a winner. I don't see why more bands don't do that.
It was only like 130 quid, I think, for all 4 nights.
Oh, that's a fucking bargain, man. In London as well.
Yep, train down there. I think I got like a return for like 50 something pounds, like a discount through work.
Dude, where was this discount when I won TNA tickets years ago for the British Boot Off final? I needed these tickets. I won 2 tickets to that. The show with Chris Travis and all that lot down in.
I was exactly the same, Paul.
You won tickets as well.
Except the different ones. I actually went to it.
Yeah, fucker.
Yeah.
See, I so wanted to go to that, but the reason obviously being there because at the time I was a Preston City wrestling fan. I'd seen Travis, I'd seen Ligero, I'd seen Mark Andrews, I'd seen a few of us down there that were in there. I knew it was going to be a good show, so fuck it, I thought I'd go. And unfortunately, I couldn't get travel arrangements down there because it's too fucking expensive.
The question is though, Lewis, is like, were you one of the loudest fans out who might get to go backstage and meet all the guys?
No, they weren't offering that exclusive.
And of course, you get to meet the coolest boss in the world.
And you get to meet Al Snow.
Yay.
Woohoo! Get fucking in.
I want to see Head.
I've seen Head in person. It's not much to shout about.
This is it. We've had our photo taken with Head.
Yes.
Exactly. And at the same time, was it Juventud Guerrero was in the ring? Madman Manson.
Ooh-ha.
Oh yeah, Ooh-ha. Who else was in that match as well? Because it was right after. I can't remember now.
Hurricane was in it, I think.
Yes, Hurricane. Yes, I think Hurricane. Yes, it was. I also had his photo taken with Alan the night before as well on his own.
Mm.
So, but I think it was a 5-on-1 match against a wrestler that shan't be mentioned on this podcast. So, yes. Did you get up to anything else, Coxie?
No, but I've got some stuff planned when I go to London.
To be revealed?
Yeah, it's nothing pod related, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's cool.
Unless you're just doing sporty shit, but on the Sunday there's an IPW CZW show.
Oh.
I'm going to try and get to that if we can.
Oh, I've seen that advertised, actually.
Jesus!
Hey, Rich Swan might be there, Coxie.
Can you handle that, though?
I'm sure I'll be fine. As long as he doesn't beat his wife, it's fine, you know.
As long as you don't carpool with him, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
It's all right. She'll just drop the charges. It's okay. It's fine. Fucking hell. Yeah. What have I been up to? Wedding planning. That's a good start. Got the ball rolling. If you don't know, I got engaged to my better half not about a month ago at Easter, and we started looking around venues, namely Tiffany's, and saying that, I'll get onto that a bit later because it links into a nice bit of nice topic later on, which I'll get onto very shortly. But before that, we got we now own a doggy. We have a doggy. 16-week-old, and it's a pain in the bum, but it's cute as anything.
It is absolutely adorable.
It's a cute little bugger. It's a cross between a Staffordshire Bull Terrier, and a Collie. So it's like a Collie Bull Terrier, in a way, whatever the fuck it is. It's weird though. It's got like the torso and like the tail of like a Staffy. But it's got the head and the legs of a collie, so it's got like dead long legs. So it's a strange looking thing, but it's adorable. It's dead clever as well. I mean, I think we've had it less than a week, and we've taught it to sit, stay, and lie down in the space of a week, which is mad for a 16-year-old pup, 16-week-old pup. So,
well, to be honest with you, if you get them sort of like doing said tasks early on, they stick with them for life, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, you teach them early, then they get used to commands and things like that. One thing is, though, it doesn't like going out for walks, we've noticed. It tends to whimper a lot.
Oh.
But I think it's because it doesn't know the area, so it's a little bit scared. But if it knows it's indoors, it's fine. It's just a lunatic and just like jumping up at the kids and jumping up at us and things like that. So we've got to go and get it microchipped yet, which is the next job, and then getting it spayed when it's a little bit older. So we don't want no puppies. No puppies for us, thank you very much. End up like me. Nice and sterile. Fucking hellfire. But yeah, other than that, what I've been up to, just been working, like I say, wedding planning, looking at venues and things like that. Thinking about who's going to be my best man. So, got to make that decision yet, and I'm struggling at the minute, if I'm brutally honest. Really struggling. So, Could be Darren. I think Darren could do it, but the speech would be, yeah.
The speech would be awkward.
It would be a little bit awkward, but yeah, I've known Paul. I've known Paul for 5 years. Yeah.
Oh, for God's sake, don't make him your best man. I'm not being mean to you, Darren, or anything, but you'll try doing jokes and it'll fall on fucking deaf ears.
It'd be like one of my son's jokes, for example. Why did the fire brigade go to the fire to put it out? Bless him. He's trying. My son's trying. He's trying humour. He's trying to do jokes, but he's not quite grasped. Obviously, because he's only 4. He's not grasped the punchline. Bless him. He's trying. He's trying his best. Bless him. In fact, he's trying his good. In my opinion,
he wouldn't want me as an audience member. Boo! Get off!
I just heard one before we came on air, which was it's something like, "What do you go for a guy that won't come? Go and get him!"
Boo!
Get out!
Oh God Almighty! But yeah. This week as well, like I say, we'll be looking at venues, and the main one that we looked at was a hotel on the Blackpool Promenade called Tiffany's.
What's
this
about?
For the Darren joke, it'd just be like, yeah, I remember at a time that we were really drunk and Paul fell over like Titus O'Neill at the Greatest Royal Rumble, and everyone's going, I have no idea who Titus O'Neill is. Like, why?
What the fuck's he on about? Seriously.
Doing a Doctor Who joke, and everyone's in the room like, what?
I'd probably be the only one to just go, yeah, I get it, but about 99% of the room won't. So just stick to topical stuff.
I can imagine you being like Bart Simpson in that scene from The Simpsons where he's just the only one in the room laughing.
Lewis just sits and goes, jump in your TARDIS and fuck off.
So yeah, I've got to think about who's going to be my best man. But at the minute, I'm really struggling.
See Darren turn up in a fez.
Yeah, because feathers are cool.
Because he's a hat guy, and I'm wearing a hat.
Get it?
Yeah. Love you, Darren.
Love you, Darren. I don't really, but, other people do, so they compensate for me.
Yeah, we mildly tolerate. There you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're looking at Tiffany's, which is like the big pink promenade pink hotel on the promenade. It's one of the main ones in Blackpool for weddings, I believe.
I know that one.
Yeah, big pink one just past the Metropole, and we went in there, and I think it's fucking brilliant if I'm brutally honest. So hopefully it's going to be some. Well, I like it anyway. The missus likes it. We're going to have a look round other places, see what they're like, but it's good. I'll be honest with you, that place is going to take some. It's going to take some
topping.
Some topping. I've just had a thing pop up on my computer. I didn't really realise Windows 10 did this because, I'm not on the computer that much. Apparently, Alex Ferguson's had a brain hemorrhage.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice song.
I've not... To be honest, I can't really say I'm that surprised given the amount of times that I've seen him and his nose is just, completely black and blue.
Yeah.
Probably be a good indicator, but, I don't care that he was I look at Sir Alex Ferguson as just like he was a manager of the football club that I dislike the most.
Yeah.
But you've got to respect him as a manager, and I respect him as a human being.
He turned the fucking club around.
Well, yeah.
He turned the club around.
He's basically Manchester United's Bill Shankly. He set the wheel in motion.
Yeah. Absolutely. If it weren't for him, where would Man United be now?
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Mm-hmm.
It could have been role reversal in the night. It wouldn't have been with Man City. Someone else would have won. But we could think about it. If it weren't for Man United, Blackburn could have fucking ran away with it in the 90s. because they had all the money thrown in, didn't they? So, yeah. So, apparently Alex Ferguson's now had a brain hemorrhage. Not good. Like I say, as well as being a Blackpool fan, I'm a Liverpool fan, and I respect what he did. I don't like the club. I like Alex Ferguson.
Yep.
So, yeah, get well soon.
Yep.
But yeah, I was back to looking at weddings. Yay, that sounds appropriate now. We're looking at wedding stuff, obviously, and as we turned up, it was like, oh shit, I forgot what time of year it is, because we made the booking to see the wedding planner, and we turned up and there was a big fucking coach parked across the entrance. I was like, okay, fair enough. We need to pull into the car park now. Park up as you do, you know. And we pulled up and I thought, oh no. Oh, for fuck's sake, what have we done? What the fuck have we done? We've only turned up as a group of young farmers. We're getting off the coach to go and check in.
Oh, yay.
They're getting off the coach, and as soon as they get off there, 3 cans of Pringles get chucked off the fucking coach all over the car park. And they're not even off the coach yet. So, yeah, it's for people who don't know, this weekend at this moment in time, which, like the first bank holiday in May, is Young Farmers Weekend. And what tends to happen is a lot of idiots from around the country who call themselves young farmers, obviously farmers who are young, come to Blackpool, get absolutely slaughtered, smash the town up, and leave the place looking like fucking Beirut, basically. Wasn't the damage last year something in the region of like £2 million worth of damage or something stupid like that?
Jesus.
Missed the year, didn't they?
Sorry?
I think they missed the year, didn't they? They went to Torquay last year.
Oh yeah, I went to Torquay last year, but the year before it was like £2 million worth of damage.
It wouldn't surprise me.
And the Young Farmers Association just basically gave Blackpool Council a blank cheque and said, right, there you go, we'll pay for it. So, fair play, they paid for it, but Coxie.
Friggin' hats off to anybody who lives there, including you guys.
Well, we just fucking hide for the weekend, let's be honest.
No.
We just
the good
hide.
thing is, I essentially work on the outskirts of town. I work in town centre, but I'm on the outskirts, where I have to go nowhere near the town centre, luckily.
You're still on the Golden Mile, though, aren't you? So
I'm on the mile, but I can stay. If I get out of work, sort of, and then I can either avoid the prom, or I can sort of walk further towards home, so like I'm further away from town.
Yeah, so you can walk. The further inland you go, the better you are, basically, at this minute.
Yeah.
No,
it was. I've not seen anything myself yet, but of course I've stayed away from town. But like the other year they were here, I was still working at Laser Quest, and of course Laser Quest was right on the seafront centre of town. And it was absolutely. A fucking.
You basically had a bullseye in your face, basically, for young farmers.
Well, what I remember, they never came down and played games or anything. It was literally a case of just having to watch the bloody door for them. Like, I'm sure before I got there, like at least one group tried coming in or something. They were just fucking about. One of them like just fell down the stairs.
Just stamped on his head on the fucking bottom of the stairs.
And they tried nicking, or I think they fucked up a fire extinguisher or something. They set one off for something. And they also nicked a wet floor sign. But like I said at the pre-Avengers podcast, it's like fizzy sweets and popco bang.
Absolutely. I mean, the mentality of these people, obviously, if they're young farmers, they've got a tough job, they need to let off some steam, that's fair enough. There's no reason not to leave your fucking brain at home. What I feel sorry for is the holiday makers that bring families to this weekend. Now, the argument could be said, oh, do some research, realise what time of year it is, and don't bring your family. Why should they? Why should people be excluded for being able to go where they want because a group of fucking idiots decide it's a good idea to smash the town up and get pissed and be rowdy and make everyone's life a fucking misery?
Well, see, my argument towards that is, well, we've got two bank holidays in May.
Yeah, that's fair. But what if you're not available for one bank holiday? That's the thing. I mean, you should be able to go wherever you want, when you want, and not have to worry about what's going to be there when you get there, especially if you're going on holiday. And not only there's that.
The thing with Blackpool, you got to remember nowadays, is people have become used to seeing bloody stag and hen parties and all that sort of thing in Blackpool. It's just the norm for this town now, unfortunately.
This is it. I mean, people who don't know, obviously, who have not seen it, or thinking, what the fuck are they on about, young farmers? Imagine the world's rowdiest fucking stag party you can think of. Multiply it by about 12, and the numbers by around about 3. And then you've got a group of young farmers getting slaughtered. Now, this was a group of people I know turned up on the Friday because I saw them unload off the coach at Tiffany's. Now, this was the group that came from Lincolnshire, because what happens is a group of guys from the young farmers will all group together. Say, for all of young farmers in Lincolnshire will all come together, book the same hotel, and stay together. Now, this was one of the guys that was in the group that we saw, because obviously, if you're coming from the same sort of town or same village or something, you tend to wear matching outfits, don't they, Coxie?
Yeah, they've all got the matching T-shirt that has some sort of daft slogan on the back.
Yeah, I mean, there was a group of people that had one that says UK Hun, and there was another one that I remember seeing, which is obviously where I got the title of this week's episode from, was Howdy, Howdy, Let's Get Rowdy, which was printed on a group of T-shirts that I saw walking down the promenade. So, or was it Albert Road? I can't remember. Might have been Albert Road, that one, because that's one of the examples of fucking idiocy that I remember quite vividly. At which point, we and my partner were driving down the road, and these guys have somehow managed to nick some litter pickers, and they were taking the flowers out of the other hanging baskets at the front of hotels.
Yeah,
they were taking them out with the litter pickers and throwing them at cars in the road. Ours nearly ended up being one of them, because the only reason being Kirsty drove at one of them.
I've seen them nearly be run over multiple times.
Well, it's their own fault. They were in the road, to be fair. They shouldn't be there. They shouldn't be in the road walking. They were walking like a quarter of the way into the road, and he's swinging this freaking litter picker with a hanging basket at the end of it. You thought, you're a fucking idiot. Sorry, go on, mate.
I was going to say, what annoys me with it, though, is like every time you mention it to people, some people are like, oh, well, come on, they bring money into the town. Well,
does it matter? Does it matter? I mean, there's people that live here. There was a story that I read on somewhere. There were going around. There were a group of them going around the actual Foxhall village, the old Foxhall village near the front, near where we do our pubcasts. Funny enough, at the Foxhall, and apparently they were all going into the people's houses and getting the litter bins and just chucking them in the street. For example, just groups of young farmers just for the fuck of it. It's ridiculous. Some of the behaviour that I've heard. I mean, another example that I remember seeing, there was a guy who was in a uniform, and it was one of the guys that we saw unload off the coach at Tiffany's. It was one of their group. And I think they must have abandoned him because he was on his own. He had pen written all over, because he had V's written all over him, which I was told by the wedding planner at Tiffany's, was if they have V's written on their face, they are, in air quotations, a Blackpool virgin. Which means they've never been before. Which means that everyone gets them fucking smashed. Now, this poor sod, bear in mind, this was 2 o'clock in the afternoon, couldn't even stand up, he was that drunk. He was being helped into Hounds Hill by an old lady. Couldn't stand up. He was out on his feet. It was an absolute sight to see. God knows what he did. It looked like he'd been sick and rolled in it. It was
lovely.
A lovely sight for the families and things like that at 2 in the afternoon, going through the middle of town. No, you see, 2 in the morning, fair enough. Not 2 in the afternoon. You know,
Can I just say, as did Blackpool's police force just go on strike during Farmers Weekend?
They've been seen laughing at them.
I'd like to see what would happen if, like, say everyone that contributes to this podcast goes into Blackpool town centre with a load of shotguns and AK-47s, starts killing these motherfuckers, and let's see if the police start doing the fucking job then.
Well,
I'd like to say that they wouldn't, because they'd just be howling with laughter, saying, these fucking dickheads are getting what's coming to them.
Yo, they wouldn't though, because we don't bring money into the town, do we?
I can flash them a load of Monopoly money and just say, that's real money. There you go, that's covered. They'd probably fall for it.
But that's the fact. Say the argument is, people keep saying, is they bring a lot of money into the town, yada 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 yada, and it doesn't fly with me, not at all. I mean, yeah, fair enough. They bring income in, yeah. They smash the fucking town up, though. They make the place look a state, and it make our locals' lives an absolute misery. I mean, one person, they were stopping traffic, I think, at one point. Like, you know, what was it? Someone put a giant inflatable penis across the window of a car, bearing in mind it had 3 kids in the back. There was another example of behaviour where 2 girls in a group of young farmers decided to get their friend and pretend to bugger them with an inflatable penis. In front of a family of 4. Yeah, wholesome family values in Blackpool, this. You know, it's ridiculous. I do remember... I'm going to say, you had a Twitter feed up before, didn't you, Coxie? Some examples of what these idiots were up to.
Oh, it was more just people ranting on them, but I can easily find it again.
Yeah, because so go on, mate.
The best way to describe it, if you're unsure of what it actually looks like, is go on Google. Don't type in go on images, but don't type in Young Farmers Weekend. Type in Aintree Ladies Day. And that's just pretty much what it is.
So I'm trying to open up this thing now on because I've got an article saved on my phone, and it's playing buggers at the minute. I'm just trying to get now. Here we go. Possibly. Here we go. There's a comments. I'm just over. There we go. Right, somebody on the story talking about the Young Farmers Weekend on the Gazette. I'm just looking at some of the comments. One of them here. Being in town at lunchtime and they are a disgusting bunch of retrobates. Have no respect for the town or all the people that live here. They were throwing 4-litre bottles of milk as some sort of crazy game, giant bags of sawdust, and all this before 1 o'clock outside the Winter Gardens down Church Street outside Scruffy Murphy's. Give us punks 100%, at least they have self-respect and don't wreck our town. But this is the thing, we have another weekend as well in Blackpool, the punk weekend. How much trouble do we have that weekend, Coxie?
None.
Absolutely none. The worst issues that the police seem to have is they'll take the odd drink off somebody every now and again. You don't hear people kicking off because they've had their alcohol took off them. Not very often, anyway, at punk weekend.
No, I've been drinking with the punks the past few. Always on the first night normally the Wednesday when they arrive.
Yeah.
So I've got mates who are like into punks, and some of them are punks themselves and that. And I've been stood in the bar with them, and everyone's friendly. Everyone gets along with each other. It's not like where they're all bloody walking down the street pissed, bloody drawing on each other, pissing on each other, driving, bloody walking in down the middle of the road and getting run over by cars and buses. Nothing like that. But it's a difference in like that thing of, I know the young farmers are like, oh yeah, we're here to get pissed because it's a resort. We can do that thing because we're not here to work and we're here to have fun. It's like, well, fuck off and do it somewhere else.
Well, I said this the other day. I mean, I put a Twitter rant out there last night because I was fucking fuming. And I said, why don't you try this behaviour of where they come from and see how long it is before they get fucking arrested?
Mm-hmm.
You know, but fuck it, it's Blackpool. It's absolutely fine. It's what's that? What happens here? No, it fucking shouldn't be. There's people that live here as well. You know, people like me, like Coxie, like Alan, like Darren. You know, we have to put up with this shit. We go after they fucked off on Monday. You know, who's still here?
Exactly.
You know, it's not good. Just
the only ones who like it, like the bar owners, where they're making like a full month or like 6 months takings in one go, like
This is what I say. Owners love it. Staff hate it. Absolutely hate it because they're rushed off the feet. I mean, Alan, I know for a fact, obviously he's not on tonight. This is one of the reasons why he's not on tonight, because he's having to work. He was fucking dreading this weekend. He knew it was going to be bad. Still decided to dress up as Banana Man, but still. For some reason, he decided to dress up as Banana Man for his shift last night. I just said to him, just be careful, because he might actually think he's a real banana and try and shove him up a passed out young farmer's arse. You know, that's the random shit they get up to, innit? So
they'd have a fucking time and effort trying to do that.
Well, these young farmers are some of the biggest arseholes I've ever seen. I wouldn't be shocked.
I'm having to stop myself from replying to a tweet that someone put up yesterday. They said, quite fancy the young farmers AGM this weekend, but Blackpool is a shithole.
Yeah, because you make it a shithole, cunts.
Well, it says that my boot is full of booze. It's a good day on the farm. Blackpool's mad though. It's like, well, you just said it was a shithole.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know what Blackpool need on Young Farmers Weekend?
Guns.
Well, no, but I'll tell you what they need. The Acolyte Protection Agency.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I mean, literally, you go back and watch some of those bar brawls that Bradshaw and Farouk got into. Fuck me, they don't hold back. They do not hold back at all.
Yeah, we need something like that.
Yeah.
The BPA, Blackpool Protection Agency. That's what we need. That is what we need. You know, they have no fucking young farmers then. But yeah, as you were saying, what was it, Coxie? Was it off air or on air? I can't remember. But we were talking about the young farmers in the hotel.
Off air, yeah.
Off air, they were saying that they were charging extra money for the room and putting old stock in, or old materials in. Obviously, don't name the hotel. But they were putting old, like, was it old, like, sheets in? And
old sheets and duvets on, they're putting old towels out. But it's, they said, if they nick any of it, they're still getting charged for it.
Yeah. And in a way, they're doing them a favour because they're getting rid of the old stock for them.
Yeah.
I'd shit in the pillowcases, so if they try to take them, then they've got lower standards than I have.
Thing is, you could shit in the pillowcase, put it on the bed, and they'll be that pissed they won't even notice, and they'll think they'd done it anyway, so you could charge them for it.
Well, exactly.
Jesus fucking Christ. But one of the hotels that I know of, again, going nameless, is they make they put the prices up, but they also make everyone pay a £50 deposit. So if there's any damage in the room, they lose their £50 deposit. Now, apparently the last time they did that was obviously 2 years ago. And they did that. They had no damage at all, not even a wet bed. So, you know, it's...
See, I've heard the opposite of, like... But I've heard places are putting the prices up. They haven't put a deposit down or anything, but they put the prices up and the people are still paying it. Like, they're willing to pay it because they just want somewhere to stay.
Well, the thing is, though, a lot of places, pretty much every single hotel in Blackpool will put the rates up this weekend. You know, you've got to, really, when you think about it. If you're paying £15 a night for these fucking idiots to come down, they smash your room up, how are you getting any money out of that? You've got to put your money up. You've got to put your prices up. This
it's a smart business move, the deposit. idea.
Because that
It's
way,
a very smart business move.
Yeah, if they do smash the room up, then you've got your money back to repair it.
Yep.
Plus, you still get your profit for the room.
Mm-hmm.
So it does make sense for me. And when I was told that, I was like, fucking clever. I like it.
Very clever.
But it's weekends like this, because every now and again I think, do you know what? I wouldn't mind running a hotel every now and again. And then it's weekends like this that make me realise you're a fucking idiot for even contemplating it.
Mm.
You know, it's no, I couldn't do it. I can handle one or two. You know, the behaviour-wise sort of thing. I couldn't handle the whole hotel full. I mean, a big hotel on the front, apparently it was fully booked with just young farmers. Just fully booked. 120 rooms, fully booked.
Oh, fuck that.
Exactly, fuck that noise. Absolutely no way would I go anywhere. No way I could do that. I couldn't work in that. I've been in some challenging positions working in mental health. Couldn't do that. No way could I do that. Not a sniff.
Just go from room to room with an aluminium bat. Dunk! Go to bed! Next room. Dunk!
Oh, that'd be such
Sleep.
Do you know what? That would be such a satisfying sound, that would be, you know. But speaking of sound, I need to talk about studio headphones for a little minute. I mean, I've been courtesy of Studio, I got these new headphones to try. And, you know, they're fucking brilliant. I've had them for about, how long have I had them now? About a week, would you say, Coxie? About a week now, isn't it? I've had these.
Roughly a week, yeah.
Roughly a week, and at the moment I'm using them through the cable, but I've been primarily using them via the Bluetooth. Now, I've not noticed any delay in the signal, you know, obviously any delay in the, you know, what I'm hearing from the phone or anything like that. I'm not hearing any interference or anything like that. The sound quality is top notch. Now, I tend to listen to spoken word a lot. Because obviously I'm a podcast addict now, you know, funny enough. It's funny how you become an addict to podcasts when you start one. Or listen to one and start one yourself. And I'll be honest with you, if you're thinking of starting a podcast or already have started a podcast and you want to upgrade your headset to something that's got a hell of a lot more clarity, just generally really good build quality, comfortable to wear, because honestly, pardon the pun, it feels like I'm wearing nothing at all. It's really lightweight. They're so comfortable. I mean, I've put them on. I've put them on the missus. I've put them on the kids. I've put them on other people. Just randomly says, just feel how comfortable these are. You know, you could sit with these for hours on your head, and you wouldn't even realise they're on your head after a while. They're that comfortable. You know, I'm wearing them now. I can't even feel the head. I've got the headband squeezed up against my head, the top of my skull, and I can't feel it. It's that comfortable. I mean, I can just about feel a little bit of pressure around where my ears are on the cup, and that is about it. They are so comfortable. The sound quality, like I say, is so crisp and clear through the when you obviously spoken word. I've listened to using, you know, all sorts of different music, mainly, you know, Slayer, Megadeth, things like that. Really clear. Well, I thought, do you know what? Fuck it, I'll try it. I even tried an Elton John song just to see if it was any good, and it's still perfect. You know, no matter what type of music you listen to, you're not going to get. I've had these on full pelt as well, full volume. Absolutely brilliant. The quality doesn't change. There's no distortion when the volume goes up. It's just perfect quality. So I'll be honest with you, I can't stress enough how good these headphones are, and the current ones I have at the minute are the Regal Black. They retail at the minute at £79 on the website. But this is where RAD come in. If you go to the website and you go to sudio.com, which is sudio.com, a bit like the Genesis song Susudio, which is funny enough where the company name came from. If you go to the website, www.sudio.com, go to the checkout after you picked whatever headphones you've got from the range there. You put in the promo code RAD. You get yourself a nice, cool 50% off your order. So, can't rate these headphones high enough, if I'm brutally honest. So, guys, if you want to upgrade your listening experience, and how I can't stress how good these headphones are. I really can't. Can you tell I like these headphones, guys?
Just a bit.
Have you done the proper test and listened to Bohemian Rhapsody through them?
Well, this is the next step. I will have to do this. I may have to get the video because I have a sneaky feeling it's going to be like that scene where the guy's got in the wind tunnel and he's trying to drink that gin or whatever it is, and he's sat there with the speakers in front of him. I assume it's going to be like that. These headphones are that good. And I'll be honest with you. I've listened to Dre. I've used Dre's before. No, Beats by Dr. Dre. These are just as good, if not better, for half the price.
I read somewhere once it says to always, if you're ever testing like a sound system or like speakers or a headset or anything, like always listen with Bohemian Rhapsody because it has like the full range of like sounds or whatever that you'd like sort of in terms of like listening quality. Mm-hmm. So there you go.
Well, I shall have to do this. I will have to do this. I'll have to play Bohemian Rhapsody at some point, which is not going to be a fucking chore because I love that song. And, I'll have to report back on the next RAD podcast to let you guys know how good these headphones are. I'm pretty sure they're going to pass it with flying colours. They are top-notch. But so, again, I'll repeat. Go to www.sudio, which is SUDIO.com. Go there. Go get your order. Put RAD in the promo code and get yourself a nice 15% off. So Lewis, that's you told, mate.
Aces.
Get it done. So on that note, do you know what I'm going to do? I think I'm going to call it. I'm going to have a little bit of a break there. I think. I'm going to put some messages on, but first, I have something to taste test.
Oh, okay.
Now, I went down to the Bargains of Home, my usual emporium of dodgy stuff to eat and drink. And I was looking around and thinking, do you know what? I want to try something for the show tonight. I really do. I went to the usual bit where I have like the tins and the instant foods, things like that, like your pot noodle or that pot mash that I tried, which was fucking grim. And nothing there. I thought, oh, okay. I went to the sweet section, chocolate section, just to see if there was anything interesting there. Not really. I thought, oh God, what am I going to do here? So I went to the drink section. I was looking round. There was an aloe vera drink, coconut flavour one. I swirled it around. It scared me. I put it back. And then I went to the freezer section. Out of the blue, I just thought, fuck this shit. I'm going to have a look anyway. And something really caught my eye. Something intriguing. Frozen kebabs. Frozen kebabs with chili sauce. Now, I quite like a kebab. I'm not, I will hold my hands up and admit I do enjoy the odd kebab. Do you guys enjoy a kebab? Let's be honest.
Sorry, Coxie, you go.
It depends on where and what sort of kebab.
I mean, we're talking doner kebab here.
Not a fan.
So I don't mind doner. I'm not a massive fan of doner. I don't mind too much doner.
I've not really had a doner. I've not really had a kebab of any kind really in probably a good year, something like that. Yeah. I do remember the last kebab I had was a mixed kebab from a Turkish takeaway. That was very nice.
Oh yeah. There's a couple of good emporiums of kebabs in Blackpool. I mean, apparently Turkish Kebab House I've tried a few times. That's fucking great. Michael's in Blackpool is infamous for having probably the world's biggest kebab. Don't know if you ever had one there, Coxie.
I've not had one, but I've seen them.
Yeah, they're fucking huge, aren't they? You could actually probably live off for it for a week. They're that big. And obviously there's the Armenian, which I need to try.
Yes.
But yeah, other than that, I mean, I'm a fan of Marmaris in Blackpool. I like Marmaris. They do something called the Munchie Box, which a lot of places now do. I go for the small Munchie Box because that's fucking huge on its own right. So I have gone for a big one and was like, oh, I can't manage this. I'm going to burst. But yeah, we have these frozen kebabs that I'm going to try. Now, hopefully, I'm going to have enough time in the adverts to cook one of these bad boys. If not, I shall be doing it with it in the background, and I will have to prepare it and leave you guys in charge, if that's okay.
I'm sure we can find something to talk about.
I think you can ramble for a couple of minutes. So on that note, I'm going to go off. I'm going to try and prepare this succulent treat that is this frozen kebab by some brand that I can't remember. I've sent it in the group chat. Give me a minute. I will tell you the brand. Talk amongst yourselves. It's called Hot Ones. Yankee Hot Ones. Doner kebabs with chili sauce. Tasty snacks in minutes. So we shall see how many minutes it takes, and hopefully I'll be back in time for the start of the second half of the show. So, back in a few minutes.
Hey, this is Coxie, reminding you to check out the Lost Art of Podcasting. We cover reviews, interviews, listener topics, our own topics. We even take a general look at life and the world around us. So I'll find the Lost Art Podcasting on Spreaker, Stitcher, iTunes, even YouTube, and all of the good podcast places.
Hello, this is for...
Can't we say hello at the same time?
Fuck's sake. Hello! This is an advertisement for Master Debaters.
Oh, can we say Master Debaters together as well? Yeah?
Hello! I am Michael.
I'm Sean. I'm Toffer.
And we are the Master Debaters.
Oh, we wanted to say it. We are the Master Debaters. That's what we want to do.
We're all saying it.
Yeah.
Hello! I'm Michael.
I'm Sean. I'm Toffer. And
we are the
Damn it, Sean!
Debaters.
I thought we were just doing...
Hello! I'm Michael.
I'm Sean. I'm Toffer.
We are...
The Master Debaters. You can find us on Twitter @_Master Debaters, SoundCloud, Podbean, and iTunes. Just do yourself a favour and jump aboard this podcast train. Choo choo, motherfucker!
It's a mum.
Hello, Mum.
And a daughter.
Hello, Stacey.
Just telling it like they think they oughta.
I'd love to meet a pirate.
Rough giraffe. Rough giraffe.
Melodic sound of the flute.
They'll make you pee your pants when you laugh.
Wet and maggoty.
Funny chat.
Comedy bronze.
Sketchy facts.
Dog monk.
And advice from a very wonky cat.
Kipper.
Rough giraffe.
Sometimes sober.
Rough giraffe.
Cheese maggot.
On Podbean and Apple Podcasts.
It's not like they don't know what they're getting.
If you like hilarious chat and poorly researched facts, then Rough Giraffe is for you. You can follow us on Twitter @RoughGiraffePod or find us on Facebook. You can download and subscribe to the show on your favourite podcatcher.
Thank you for listening to the RAD podcast. If you really enjoy this podcast, please consider supporting us by going to the RAD Live Facebook page at www.facebook.com/UK RAD Live. You can also find us on Twitter. Our handle is @UK RAD Podcast. You can find this podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, Spreaker, and many other good podcast apps and websites. And while you're supporting us, consider supporting our friends at the Lost Art of Podcasting. You can find them also on Facebook by going to the www.facebook.com/Lost Art of Podcasting. They are also on Twitter and have a handle @Lost Art Podcast. They are also on iTunes, Stitcher, Spreaker, and many other good podcast apps. Same also for his spin-off show, The Lost Art of Wrestling. They are also on Facebook @Lost Art Podcast, and also on Twitter with their handle @LAOW Podcast. Friends of the show, These People Podcast, great little show. Give them a like, give them a subscribe. You can find them at Facebook at www.facebook.com/These People Podcast. They are also on Twitter @TPPod. They also have a website at www.thesepeoplepodcast.com, and you can find them on Spreaker, iTunes, and many other good apps. Also, while you're at it, Casa Mirth podcast. Cracking show if you don't mind a little bit more of the risque side of things. They are also have a website of their own as well at www.casamirth.com. They are on Twitter at casamirth, and also find them on Facebook. They are also available on iTunes, Stitcher, and all other good pod sort of apps out there. And Mooch TV, friends of the show as well. They are on Facebook at www.facebook.com/Mooch TV. But you can also find them on YouTube at www.youtube.com/Mooch TV. And if you're ever in Blackpool, in the season, might add, because it's now closed, you can go to Reflex, the only bar in Blackpool that has 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s and noughties music, also accompanied with great food upstairs in the family bar. So if you're in Blackpool and you enjoy, great food, great music and a great time, why don't you consider checking out the Reflex at the Foxhole? Now it's back to the RAD Live podcast. And we are back! I know no one heard you say gimme, 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 Lewis. You were luckily still on mute, just.
Aces. I got away with it.
You got away with it. So yeah, at the minute I'm just finishing off cooking my nice, yummy, nutritious kebab, where I've had to run the chili sauce under hot water to defrost it. So yeah, one of the good, how good this is going to be when one of the instructions is literally run it under a hot tap. So yeah, this could be fun. I'm expecting the microwave to go ding in a minute. So on that note, I'm going to hand the reins over to Lewis Ogden to talk about WWE.
Oh yes. Now, ladies and gentlemen, did we watch the Greatest Royal Rumble live?
Yes.
Ish.
What do we think of the Greatest Royal Rumble? I say false advertisement. I'd say false advertisement because pretty much it was a televised house show.
Oh yes, with so many death threats involved too. I'll be back in a minute. My microwave has dinged.
Right,
it's a televised show with name brand behind it.
Yeah, and the fact that they flashed up the Backlash advert that had Carmella there, which sparked further outrage from high-ranking officials in Saudi Arabia.
Oops, sake.
It's amazing that they're a multi-million-dollar company. It's amazing that they're the company that carried on whilst WCW died. I can't understand it sometimes. Yeah, although it being a glorified house show, I thought there were some decent bits on this show. I enjoyed the 4-way ladder match. I think that was better than it had any right in being, given the show that it was on. I thought AJ and Shinsuke, or as we've decided to call him, Shinsuke Nutcrackamora, I thought their match, bar the finish, was certainly better than their match at Mania was. And the only other thing that I can think of is parts of the Royal Rumble. Case in point, probably the thing that will forever solidify Titus O'Neil's career for the next 30 years will be him slipping and falling over on his way to the ring.
Yeah, it's sealed now, isn't it? But I'm just hoping they don't turn it into an actual gimmick of like, yeah, you're Titus, you're just gonna like trip everywhere now and just fall everywhere.
Well, it's WWE for you. They take something that's sort of like naturally funny and they're going to ram it into the ground. Oh yeah, because it's WWE. They've got no real, they see something that's actually funny and then they're just sort of. I'm trying to think of like a weird. I'm trying to think of a like comparison.
That's me back, by the way.
Oh, okay. We're just talking about how Titus O'Neil's falling over gimmick is going to get very stale very fast.
Absolutely. I mean, his whole gimmick is going to be him being a klutz for the next 6 months.
And even then, it's not as if he's like of Finn Balor's stature. You know, he was 41. He was a part-time performer at the time. It's, if anything, going to help his career in the long run. But it's not going to make for very entertaining television when it's the WWE thing of something so natural is going to be forced down our throats so rapidly and at such a unnatural pace that people are going to get bored of it very, very quickly.
Absolutely. He's going to be the new comedy goof character. I mean, can you imagine the situations that Titus O'Neil is going to be in? All of a sudden, he has 4 cups of water and he's walking along. Next thing you know, he's tripped over a cable and he's spilled it over a group of girls. Oh
my God! They've gotten a big shipment of bananas in. Oh no! Here comes Titus. Whoa!
Exactly.
That's not me being racist, by the way. Before anybody jumps to that conclusion, thank you very much.
Oh.
I'd like to think that he just do what. God, I can't remember what the footballer was. But there was a footballer. I remember taking a corner, and I think it was a World Cup or a Euro game or something like that. And he had a banana thrown at him, so he just picked the banana up off the floor and ate half of it.
Yes, I remember that. And I think
Can't remember who it was.
I think it was the Euros.
Yeah.
I think it was the Euros. I think it was somewhere like Russia. And they just picked it up and ate it and carried on playing.
Yeah.
It's fucking brilliant.
So yeah, that'll be the thing for the next, however many years he's in the wrestling business. Absolutely. Can I also talk about Daniel Bryan?
Yes, you can.
Did you see the pictures of his fucking chest?
Yeah, Roderick Strong did a fucking number on him. Yeah, you could actually see his fingerprints.
Yes.
Like though, Roderick Strong has gone. Yeah, I remember PCO and Walter at Joe Janela Spring Break. He's like, yeah, okay, we'll top that. Like, no. Roderick
Strong will top that. Daniel Bryan got fuck all in. That was all Roddy. That one. Roderick Strong taking his name a little bit too far there.
Plus, the thing is, I think Coxie can probably relate to this as well. He did a lot of hanging onto the top rope when people were trying to push him out because he had just as bad marks under his left arm. I think it was. They were just as bad as the marks he had on his chest.
Yeah, that was the rubbing on the ropes, wasn't it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was not fun.
Yeah, you'll learn where if you ever like wrestle. Either running the ropes or, getting thrown over multiple times, you will develop sort of like bruises along that area.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, that was nice. So, yeah, that was the greatest Royal Rumble ever. It wasn't the greatest Royal Rumble ever because, the Royal Rumble from earlier this year was 10 times better. We've got to talk about another WWE show this weekend, the Backlash show.
But can I first, before we get onto that though, can I just get this fucking monstrosity out of the way?
Well, you were piping it up so much about how it's going to look like a beautiful concoction that,
Well,
might as well get it over and done with.
Like I said, if you two would like to look at your phones and look at the group chat, I have sent you guys a picture. I want you to tell me what you guys think this looks like.
Okie dokie, just give me 1 second.
Yeah, they're looking at their phone.
I'm going to send you a picture on the Skype chat here of PCO after his match with Walter, just so you can see his chest. And it pretty much looks like what would happen if you dropped that kebab on your shot on your now.
See your first, see my vest, see my vest. Yes, it's but yeah.
Is it just me, or have you made like a tiny little bit of a face?
I have not made it look like a face, but now I look at it.
It looks like a winking crocodile.
It does a little bit. I'm going to have to put this on the page.
Yeah.
I will have to put this on the page.
Up.
But yes, I can't. Oh, there we go.
Oh, good Lord, Coxley.
Why can't I see this?
What have you just sent me?
I can't see this.
Yeah, it's on the Skype chat.
Oh, that's disgusting.
Yeah, I'm looking, but for some reason it's not there. Why?
Oh, I'll send it you on Facebook.
Have you got the instant message? Have you clicked on the instant message button?
Yeah, it says hide or open it, and it just comes up with that's it, nothing. For some reason, mine's not working. Oh, well. I'm going to say, Cox is going to send me a Facebook message with it anyway.
Yeah, it'd be so much easier.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
You saw Daniel Bryan at the Greatest Royal Rumble, or whatever. His chest was like, that ain't shit compared to this.
Well,
no, no, it isn't.
This was at Progress, wasn't it?
No, this was Joe Janela Spring Break.
Oh right, yes. Oh, hang on, now I've got it. I believe. Oh, that's sick. I'm just full screening it now. I've managed to suss it. It's being very slow because my computer is extremely fast. Yeep!
I was about to say, is it line by line?
It honestly looks like someone's shotgun blasted him in the chest.
Yeah.
That is sick.
Mm-hmm. It is quite disgusting looking.
Yeah, that's not nice. It's a bit like this kebab, if I'm brutally honest.
No, it's not. Don't bullshit.
So, I've got a little tiny bit of kebab which I managed to keep away separate from the rest of it so you get sauce on it. So I'm going to try the actual kebab meat on its own.
Right, okay.
Right, so here we go. Trying it now.
Hom.
Nom.
Cardboard taste. Cardboard taste. Cardboard taste.
I can taste the spices in it. It's not really much meaty taste to it. There's definitely just like a lot of spices, like herbs and things in it. A little bit of a hint of like a chili sort of kick at the back of the mouth, but not a lot really. It's not that tight. It's very, very thin.
So it's just basically spices.
Yeah, it falls apart quite a lot. So, yeah, the actual thing itself, I've got some chili sauce, which I will try loose.
Red rum goes into all our kebab products.
Yeah. Chili sauce is, I'd say it's closer to ketchup than it is chili sauce.
Ooh. False advertisement.
Yeah. There's no heat in that at all. No heat in that at all.
It's the food equivalent of the Greatest Royal Rumble.
Promises a lot, but you get just basically a wet fart.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to try the whole thing now. I've just picked it all up. The pitta is, the bottom it's rock hard. It looks very thin and greasy at the top. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to this, guys.
Yeah.
Let's give it a try. You probably hear it crunch, which is not a noise a kebab should make. Here we go. Oh. Okay.
That wasn't the bread, that was Paul's tooth cracking.
Oh, can you hear that crunch?
Yeah.
Right. The pitta tastes of nothing but despair and disappointment. The meat, there's a slight hint of lamb in there. You get quite a bit of lamb in it, to be fair. Quite a bit of meat. But at the same time, it could also pass as wet shredded cardboard.
Sounds lovely.
It's got a lot of, like, herbs and spices and shit, basically. I'll be honest with you, I'll be interested to know what the meat content of this is. And I'll be brutally honest with you, I will not be shocked if it says suitable for vegetarians on the box.
Meat content, 4%.
Exactly. Mattress content, 80%. Yeah, I cannot wholeheartedly recommend that. That is fucking... I'm going to eat it because I'm hungry. But...
Oh, come on. That's, like, borderline depressive.
Only because I'm fat and like I've had a decent tea. I've had my homemade chili, mate. It's fucking top notch.
For God's sake,
It's
he's
not
so
like
hungry. Mind you, I can't really tell. I can't really talk.
It's food. It's put in front of me, and the dog's winking at me. So, yeah, I might just finish that off because I'm a fat shit.
The dog's winking at you. I do that for me.
Yeah, I do that for me. That'll try something. Now you can fucking keep that. Yeah,
I'll make a nice present for you in the morning.
This is a runny kind. I can't really recommend it, for brutally honest. I mean, for two of them, you get it for £1.29. It sounds like a bargain, but
quantity, not quality.
Exactly.
I think I'm very similar, if not the same, possibly the same company to re-release them or something. I used to pick them up from bloody Morrison's.
Okay.
It was exactly like that way. It was you did it in a microwave, and you had to put. It was like, oh yeah, defrost the sauce and then like put it in or whatever. And the thing happened. The pitters used to come out bloody fucking rock hard.
Yeah, rock hard around the edges.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just have another bite of it. It just, yeah. There's no real substance to them, is there?
It's just crap at the end of the day. It's not. It's one of them. It's nothing thingy.
Nothing special.
Nothing of substance. It's literally just like meant to be like a snack.
Yeah.
But even it's shite.
Yeah, it's not good. It's certainly nothing in there good for you. I tell you, somebody who'd have a fucking field day with this thing. Ashens.
If he's not had them on.
I don't think he's had them on yet. So he doesn't tend to do frozen stuff, does he? He tends to do stuff that's in the cupboard, like hunger breaks and things like that. So you can't really send anything frozen in the mail, really, can you? So
unfortunately, not.
No. But I might message Ashens and point him towards these hunger breaks things. Not hunger breaks, whatever they're called. I'm saying that he lives down south, and apparently Home Bargains isn't down south, so he's fucked. He might be pleased about that fact. But yes, we have Backlash this weekend.
Yes. I can only really see... Well, I'm just looking at the card now. I can only really see 3 matches that'll be anywhere good. The rest will be just sort of like passable. So I'll go from top to bottom because I've heard online that AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura may be getting the main event slot over Reigns and Joe.
Okay.
Which is, quite nice to see. So there is Braun Strowman and Bobby Lashley versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, Daniel Bryan versus Big Cass, Roman Reigns versus Samoa Joe, Carmella versus Charlotte Flair for the SmackDown Women's title, Nia Jax against Alexa Bliss for the Raw Women's title, Jeff Hardy versus Randy Orton for the United States title, Seth Rollins versus The Miz for the Intercontinental title, and then the supposed main event, AJ Styles, Shinsuke and Nakamura in a no disqualification match for the WWE title.
So is this pay-per-view going to go on for 4 hours? Because there's that many matches.
I've not heard about them going to 4 hours on the solo pay-per-views yet. So I'm guessing it will be just over 3. I'm literally just going to pick and choose and just go with whatever matches people say are good. Because, as I say, I can't be bothered. And particularly given the amount of New Japan stuff that I've watched over the past couple of days, I can think of better stuff to watch.
I'm not watching it live.
Well, no, I'm not, because I'm in work the next day. So I'd rather get me sleep.
Snap.
Any thoughts, Coxie?
I've not really been paying attention to it, but it's like, is there any point in like the big Cass Daniel Bryan match? We know how it's going to go. Right.
Castle dominating for 9 minutes, and then Bryan might get a fluky win. and then Castle just beat the fuck out of him post-match.
Yeah.
You see, I think otherwise. I think Casa's going to win that. And it's going to be some sort of fuckery. And they're going to build it onto a match. I think this is going to be a way of building Big Cass and then eventually putting Daniel Bryan over, say, at SummerSlam.
I don't know. To be honest, I don't know what they're doing with...
I hope I'm wrong.
I don't know what they're doing with most guys on that fucking roster, because, you know, they make Daniel Bryan and Bobby Lashley just look like everyday dudes, but they continue to push Roman Reigns as a babyface. So...
Well, my thoughts on Bobby Lashley are well known, so him being pushed as a regular dude is fucking fine by me.
Milky Brew.
Milky Brew, yes.
But it's like AJ Nakamura, like, again, like, what's Nakamura going to gain from this? Obviously, he can use the low blow all he wants. You can get AJ right in the Nakamura's.
Hey, I see what he did there.
But the thing is, like, his tactic is still working, because AJ hasn't clocked that he should be wearing a cup at this point. That's one question that we were asked, was answered at the Greatest Royal Rumble. AJ hadn't smartened himself up to wear a cup.
Wow.
He will this time, because it's a no DQ match, and he'll use the cup to win the match.
Just whip it out of his pants and swat Shinsuke around the face with it.
Yep.
Or making submit and try shoving it over his face.
It'd be storyline continuity.
True.
It'd be them actually telling the story rather than just be like, here's the match, here's the finish. Do it again.
Fair point. Fair point. Yeah, I actually agree. Fair point. As for, like I say, putting was it Shinsuke and AJ on as the main event? I don't see why not, because obviously you're not going to get you're not getting the Universal title defended.
Nope.
So the only World Championship you haven't defended on the show is the WWE Championship. Now, do you, as much as he wants to push Roman Reigns as the main guy, should he have priority over the actual main belt that's being defended that night?
No.
Exactly. So that booking decision to put Nakamura and AJ Styles as the main event makes a hell of a lot more sense than putting a match that really doesn't really go anywhere.
No. The thing is, like, they've damaged Roman that badly, and to be honest with you, Joe's benefited more from this feud than Roman has. So. And we all know which way it's going to go. And if it were in the main event slot, it wouldn't... Like, Reigns wouldn't gain anything from it, and it would just hurt Joe. So, you know, with it not being in the main event slot, it just sort of lessens the blow a little bit. Because at least it's not going to be sort of like the last thing that people think about. As long as Styles and Nakamura have sort of as good as... Well, much more of the same of what we saw at the Greatest Royal Rumble bar the finish than we did at Mania.
Do you think the Roman Reigns experiment finished and is a failure, or do you think they're going to push on with it anyway?
No, they're going to push on with it anyway, because Vince McMahon's a stubborn git.
I think
I read somewhere a while back before Mania, it said he's starting to lose his faith in Reigns.
Well, no matter what he does, he can't get a positive reaction. That's what he wants him as the face of the company, because you can't exactly have somebody as the face of the company as when all the footage comes out, everyone just fucking boos their face off.
Well, I can tell you... Well, we'll get onto it in a second, but there is ways of making your face of the company really effective heel, which we'll come on to in a second, obviously. It is possible. They don't want to do it.
No, I do think obviously. I think Roman does need to be turned heel.
Mm-hmm.
At the moment he turns heel, I think a lot of more people will be more willing to give him a chance.
Yeah.
But at the minute he's being shoved down our throat as a sickly baby face. Just doesn't. It's not working, and people are sick of it now.
Well, it's not natural.
No.
As well.
And not necessarily people are booing Roman Reigns. I think people are booing the WWE forcing this shit down their throat repeatedly. And this would be them voicing their way, saying, "No, we don't want this."
They don't. My main issue would be is that they don't want him as a babyface because there are so many more people who are more effective at being a top babyface than Roman is.
Yeah.
I honestly think if you gave Roman that heel platform, that people would gravitate to accepting him as a heel rather than rejecting him as a babyface.
But it's not like he's not been a heel before. He was a heel in Shield. He was a heel in NXT at one point. So it's you can do it. He's done it before. He can do it again. His character, the way he wrestles, it does suit a heel style. It can suit a heel style.
Yeah.
So I think they should just push the button and go for it. Because they're not going to lose anything. I mean, obviously, all they're going to get is people booing anyway. Turn him heel. They've had, 3 years of him being face and 3 years of utter rejection?
You'd make him as big a heel as Stephanie McMahon is.
Yeah. You turn him heel, and not only will you get the holy shit they've done it moment, you'll get, oh, hang on a minute, Roman's heel. This is interesting. I might watch this.
Yeah.
See, it's twofold. And thing is, there've been cries for years and years and years and years since I started watching wrestling again in 2010. Turn John Cena heel. John Cena is the proof this company is stubborn. They will stick to the guns regardless of what the fans want.
I can understand with Cena though, because he's like a big merch seller. He's a big Make-A-Wish contributor. He's got like the kid demographic. If you look at Roman, it pales in comparison. I mean, sort of like, where's his main major fan base? It's not as big as Cena's. I don't think it'll ever be as big as Cena's.
No, I agree.
And I think to be honest with you, people have got to the stage with Cena that they're just sort of they're like, oh, he's here.
Here's a controversial statement though that I'm about to say. I'm going to whisper it into the microphone. Cena's a better wrestler.
I wouldn't agree at this.
Overall package is.
I wouldn't agree. I personally wouldn't agree with that, to be honest. I think Roman's got better. He's a better. I'd say he's a better athlete. I'd say he's better at the fundamentals. He's better at the fundamentals, whereas Cena's had them, but not to the big extent. And you notice as he's sort of winding down his career that they are very slowly going, and he is becoming incredibly sloppy. Not that I'm saying Roman doesn't have his moments either, but he's much more competent, I would say, than Cena is.
Perhaps nowadays, yeah. Perhaps nowadays, but back in Cena's prime, I don't know.
He would probably struggle. Right, should we get off the topic of WWE and talk on to some actual good wrestling?
Go for it.
New Japan! They've very recently had their latest batch of important main roster shows. First thing that I'll talk about, Chris Jericho's back in New Japan.
Yeah, and he kicked fuck out of Naito, didn't he?
He did.
I'll be honest with you, it's the only bit of New Japan that I know happened, so yay.
Yeah. Just despite doing the Chris Jericho thing of keeping quiet or rejecting the notion that he'd be going back to New Japan. And I even said they wouldn't have done the angle at New Year's Dash with him initially attacking Naito straight after Wrestle Kingdom. It was just like, they'll come back to this at some point. And they have. It was after a multi-man match between Los Ingobernables and Suzuki Gun, which is basically Naito's faction and Minoru Suzuki's faction. Naito was making his way back to the locker room, slapping hands with the fans. One of the fans grabbed him and pulled him towards the guard's tail and then just like beat the fuck out of him. This masked individual came over, started beating the fuck out of him, got him back in the ring, took his mask off with great difficulty, was revealed to be Jericho. Everyone went nuts, hit the code breaker on him, went and got the ring bell. There was a great bit actually as Jericho was going to get the ring bell where they cut to Naito and you could actually see one of the referees start to blade Naito and then it cut away. So he hit him with the ring bell, left him a bloody mess. This is likely to either set up for the big Dominion show, which is New Japan's equivalent for SummerSlam, or they might be saving it for the G1 special in San Francisco. It just depends, because the thing is with the G1 special, they've not announced anything for it. Like, absolutely nothing. Not in terms of wrestlers who are going to be on the card or any matches or anything like that. They've literally just gone from it, because this is the difficulty with sort of doing a big American show only a couple of months after they've done quite a big American show. Obviously, I won't get into most of it because I am going to be doing sort of like a little mini podcast going into a bit more in depth of what's been going on since Wrestle Kingdom back in early January.
Yep, so like a crash course for New Japan.
Pretty much, yeah. Because there is quite a lot to talk about, and it's not sort of one of those that I can really use for this particular airtime. It's better for its own separate podcast.
Which will be which I'm debating if I'll have a talk with you in private when we put it on Patreon, or just put it as free to air. So,
yeah, it's completely up to you, man. So this is the problem with they've got this G1 special booked for July the 7th. Now the Dominion show is on June 9th. Now I think the reason that they haven't announced anything for this this big American show at the Cow Palace in San Francisco is because they have to wait until Dominion's done before they start setting up for the next show. The problem with this is that the Cow Palace is like a 15,000 seat venue. They've only sold about 3,300 tickets so far.
Yeah.
So it's a tad bit worrying. Plus, you've got to remember as well that it's not been long since the Strong Style Evolve show in Long Beach. It was about a couple of months ago. So you're asking hardcore fans of New Japan, because that'll be like the people that they're reaching out to. You're asking them to obviously travel back into San Francisco, and then they've got the things of like additional costs, like your flights, your hotel, your transport to and from. So it's not really the best. Well, I'd say it's not really one of the best that they could do. I'm sure as soon as they start announcing matches for it, that depending on the quality of matches that they announce, you could see a lot of tickets start to move. But at the moment, they've probably only sold a fifth of the venue. So yeah, that is that for the future. Two matches I want to talk about were from this past Friday. Friday? Or was it Thursday? Can't remember. When was the 4th? 4th was yesterday, wasn't it?
4th was yesterday.
So there were two title matches. The first one was Will Ospreay and Kushida for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship. This was a really good match.
The Flip-de-Doo belt. Flip-de-Doo.
Yeah, for the Flip-de-Doo belt, as some people might call it, with Will Ospreay holding it. This was a really good match. Sort of in similar vein to the match that Ospreay had against Marty Scurll. There were a couple of moments of certain people being spiked on the head. Not to the extent of Ospreay's Spanish Fly that he hit on Marty Scurll and damn near should have really broke his neck. You know, sort of. There was a spot where Kushida did a leaping DDT off the apron onto the floor. It wasn't, the impact wasn't as bad as the Spanish Fly on the apron from the previous match, but it was still, you know, I think about like Will Ospreay, the problems that he has with his neck, and I look at sort of like Will Ospreay matches like I do with Kurt Angle matches in 2003, you know, just before he went in for neck surgery, that literally just sort of like it takes like that one bump and your neck's fucked, basically. So it was a really good match. Ospreay's debuted a new finisher. I forget what it's called now. It's basically like he gets them up in a tiger, sets them up with sort of like go for a pedigree, lifts them up onto the shoulders, so it's like a Jesse Ventura style backbreaker.
Aye.
Or like as if you're going for like a shoulder breaker, and then he'll flip them out and go into sort of like a spiraling DDT. It's a really cool looking move, and that's what won it for Ospreay. It was, as I say, it's a really good match. In terms of story, in terms of like who he could have been in the ring with, I don't think you could ask for anyone better than Kushida, because there's certain people in New Japan that in sort of like the junior heavyweight division, there's Ospreay, Kushida, and Hiromu Takahashi. Put any of them three in sort of like singles matches against one another. I mean, I can sort of go back to the Kushida and Takahashi trilogy from across 2017 last year. I mean, that trilogy was just absolutely fantastic. Like, fantastic storytelling, really cool moves, couple of like holy shit moments, and overall sort of like the complete package, really. We were talking earlier about Roman Reigns being sort of like, you know, how it would be possible to be the face of the company and also to be like a top heel. Yeah. Well, the real effectiveness of when that's done properly was really on show in the main event of this show we were on about, that was on the same card. That was a Kazuchika Okada and Hiroshi Tanahashi, the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. Now, if you look at the setup for this, without sort of like the real reason why this match happened, it would be the WWE equivalent if Roman Reigns was the Universal Champion and Baron Corbin came out and said, I want a title match, and he just got it. You'd literally turn around and go, well, what has Baron Corbin done in, well, Baron Corbin's a bad example, but you could say, what's he done in the sort of like since the start of the year that warrants a title shot? And Tanahashi sort of falls into that category a little bit. Like, after Wrestle Kingdom, after he retained the Intercontinental title after Wrestle Kingdom, he lost it to the Minoru Suzuki and had his knee torn apart in the process. Tapped out clean in the finals of the Super J Cup to Zack Sabre Jr., who got a nice little run in a world title match against Okada. So that was quite nice to see. And other than that, Tanahashi hasn't really won any majorly big matches. So I think it was after the Genesis show, which had the Okada-Zack Sabre match on it, Tanahashi came out and basically put off the challenge that he wanted to be the next contender for Okada. And Okada and his manager Gedo, who's also the booker for New Japan, were basically putting the point across of, look, since the start of the year, you've done absolutely nothing. You've lost all your high-profile matches. You've been on the shelf injured. Why do you deserve this title match? And Tanahashi, they basically put the idea of it's all down to Okada at that point had 11 consecutive successful title defenses in one reign. And he had tied the record with one single man, so he only needed one victory to break that record. Yeah. And the record that he was tied with was Hiroshi Tanahashi. So in a way, in sort of like a storyline way, it makes a little bit more sense than it would be if someone undeserving just got a title shot out of nowhere.
Well, yeah.
So they had about a half-hour, 35-minute match. Now, that may seem quite a lot, and I must say for probably the first 10, 15 minutes of the match, it wasn't bad. It was just, going at a nice, content pace. There was nothing particularly wrong, but nothing particularly interesting. But for the last 15 minutes, the moves that were hit, the facial expressions from each person, from each of the wrestlers, and I was sort of thinking about this in the ending stretch of the match, is there's a reason why I like watching New Japan, big-time New Japan matches than I do for, say, Ring of Honor matches. And it's a lot to do with the camera work. Now, if you notice in sort of like Ring of Honor events, they're very sort of like wide. They have a very sort of like wide aspect. They don't really focus in on the ring, or they don't focus on the competitors too much. It's about getting sort of like as broad an aspect as you can. So, in a way, I mean, particularly when I'm watching Ring of Honor matches, I sort of like, my brain goes on walkabouts, because, there might be some impressive moves going on, but I'm not really emotionally invested. And it really stood out in...
Sorry, a lot of time in those matches as well, especially in ROH and New Japan, obviously the cruiserweight more than anything else, they don't really seem to add up to anything. So, I'm going to do a move just for the sake of it. ROH is very fucking guilty of that.
Yeah.
Very, very
yeah.
so. So, what, Canadian Destroyer? Why? You know what I mean? It's shit like that.
No, yeah, I agree. But what I think New Japan really capitalise on very well, and people can, other wrestling promotions can sort of look at this and sort of take it on board, is they have even in sort of like rest holds, they'll have very like close-ups of both competitors, and they'll switch back and forth in between them, so you can see the emotion, and you can see sort of like, it's very weird, sort of like the eyes are sort of like the biggest contributor to explaining what a person's going through emotionally. And that's sort of what I got from Okada and Tanahashi, particularly in this match. They weren't just sort of going hell for leather with the moves. They were going for hell for leather with their emotions. And plus it helped as well that the crowd were completely behind Tanahashi. They weren't outright booing Okada, despite the fact that Okada in the build-up for this has been, put across as sort of like a disrespectful heel champion. The crowd weren't like flat out booing Okada. They respected his athleticism, but they had this undying love for Tanahashi. And Tanahashi, time and time again, kept hitting the high five flow, not going in for the kill, and eventually it cost him because Okada just hits this wicked Rainmaker and got the win. Obviously broke the record for consecutive title defences in one reign. So after the match, he praised Tanahashi, saying that he was really tough and all that. Managed to point out that he'd actually broken the record, and it would usually be at that point where a contender would make it known that I want the next title match. But Okada made the point of saying, well, I've beaten everybody, and the last time I was in this building in Fukuoka, he went to a 60-minute time limit draw with a certain somebody. So he called out Kenny Omega, basically put the challenge to him of having a match with no time limit. Then Omega made the declaration of it being a 2 out of 3 falls match. So they've set up for Dominion, Kazuchika Okada and Kenny Omega Part 4, 2 out of 3 falls with a no time limit, which should be fucking epic. And I reckon that they could really make a beeline not only with Dominion but also for their G1 special in America. They could have Omega finally win the title off Okada and then have a rematch at the Cow Palace, because Okada's already said that he's one of his things that he wants to do this year is wrestle Kenny Omega in the United States. So it'd be sort of like, it'd be a perfect way to set it up. Also with like that Cow Palace show, Rey Mysterio's still sort of like up in the air of whether he's going to appear eventually for New Japan. He said he would, but you know, things can change. So maybe sort of like incorporate a match with Will Ospreay. I mean, depending on what they do with Naito and Jericho, it might happen at Dominion, or it might happen at might happen at the America show. So you've got the possibility of an America show with Omega Okada, Naito, Jericho, and Ospreay, Mysterio. You can't tell me with them three as your top matches that they wouldn't sell out the Cow Palace.
Yeah, that's pretty fucking stacked.
But the thing is though, it just depends what they do for the Dominion show, which I'm a little bit pissed about because it happens on a day when I'm in work, so I can't watch it live, unfortunately. But hey ho, you know, these things happen. So yeah, that's my brief talk about New Japan. I will be as brief as I can make it. I will be doing sort of like an extended chat, going into full details, said storylines, said certain individuals of what they've done up from Wrestle Kingdom up to this present day. So yeah, I am all wrestled out. You'll be glad to hear, guys.
Are you still there, Coxie?
Yeah, it was. I'm just looking through YouTube because it was when you mentioned about the difference of the camera angles and stuff. There was it was a video I watched on YouTube or something. I can't find it now. It's really annoying me. And it was saying about how New Japan films their shows and stuff, and how they film the moves. Like when it says Kenny Omega has that knee, like when his opponent's on like the middle rope and he runs up and does the knee, and it's telling you how like, oh, the camera focuses here on his opponent, and so you see it coming from this angle and all this sort of thing. It was like really interesting how it shows how it was filmed. I can't find it now. It's annoying.
You'll find it when you stop looking for it. That's the thing.
I'll find it probably in about 3 weeks, and I go, remember that when we were talking about camera angles like for New Japan? You'd be like, no.
Do you know what? Speaking of YouTube, I'm sick of doing it. I mean, I go down some random rabbit holes on YouTube, and for some reason I've been getting into roller coaster POVs.
Right.
I have no idea why. I think I just randomly stumbled across like one from the the Pepsi Max big one. Sorry, can't call it Pepsi Max big one anymore because it's not sponsored by Pepsi Max anymore, so it's just the big one. I just watched that and then ended up going and watching one for I can't remember what it fucking was. I don't know if it was Infusion and it went to Alton Park. I ended up watching ones of like fucking roller coasters in Abu Dhabi and things like that. Just random shit, and I don't know why. I mean, I've watched a POV of Valhalla. Well done, because it's fucking pitch black. So yeah, why would you film a POV of a dark ride? Can't see. And not only that, you get your camera wet.
Oh, I found the name of Ospreay's new finisher. He's called it the Stormbreaker, and I'm gonna post a link in the group chat.
The full description of it is a double underhook overhead gut wrench transitioned into a modified corkscrew neckbreaker.
See, that's very Will Ospreay, that move, isn't
yes.
it? By the name.
I want to see the conversation he has with his opponent though. He's like, I've got this new move. It's called the Stormbreaker. Like, what's that? He's like, well, I go for a double underhook, then I pick you up over my head, and it's like I go for like a gut wrench, but then I sort of turn it into a neck breaker, and they go.
Right, I've linked the GIF of it in the group chat. Oh, just one last little wrestling thing. Have you heard about the all-in ticket structure?
No.
So the all-in show, it's the one being run by the Young Bucks and Cody Rhodes. It's got like a lot of talent scheduled for it. Like Okada and Omega are supposed to be on it, and they've tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to save the photo, and then once again, I'm going to link it in the chat. But the pricing structure is very, very affordable. Like for quite a lot of sections, in the upper, like even in the upper decks in the bleachers, tickets are $28 a pop, which is the equivalent of 20 quid.
That's good. I mean,
So they've gone
for that price in this country. You're talking people like Martin Kirby and what have you, and people like that. Now, no knocking to Martin Kirby, he's certainly not a fucking Kenny Omega.
No.
So
I've just linked it again. So the next tier up from the $28 is the $53 one, which works out at about just over 40 quid.
yeah,
And as you can see from sort of like where the red bits are, that's quite once again like another quite a lot of sections are in the red. So for 40 quid a ticket, you can't really complain too much.
no. Yeah,
Or you could be sort of like mad and go for like a front row seat which is $153, but not many people are like that.
Yeah, but for front row, that's not too bad.
Hmm.
I mean, all them, there's a shitload of red.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. I mean, if you can imagine, for example, red 115, where you're pretty much right opposite the ring, that'd be fucking epic. Especially if you're at the front of that section.
Leaving like 116, which is like literally you're parallel with the ring.
This is it.
78. You see, that's $78, which in British pounds,
About 60 something, wasn't it?
£57.63.
It's not bad.
So just under 60 quid.
Oh well. It showed we don't live in America, really, innit?
Well, true, but needs must and all that.
We get the football, they get the wrestling. Oh wait. Sake. I do maintain we're going to have to go to WrestleMania one day, guys. I mean...
Oh, yeah.
To be fair, when you think about it, it's actually not that expensive.
No.
If you only go for a few days, it's actually not that expensive.
Yeah, if you plan it properly, it can be really affordable. What gets you more is like, people always say like, oh yeah, you're looking like $1,000 and stuff. It's like, well, you can get a flight pretty cheap, but if you're not bothered about where you're staying, it's not too bad on accommodation.
Mm-hmm.
Like I always say, at the end of the day, a hotel is the bed.
Yeah.
Like, in terms of like the other stuff, like, well, don't buy t-shirts when you go over there because of course they're going to ramp up the prices.
Uh-huh.
Don't buy food or drink in the arena because it's fucking mega expensive.
Smuggle it in.
Again, but then again, you're there for like 7, 8, 9 hours or whatever, so it might be your only option. Of course, then you've got all the cheap shows around the area anyway as well, all the other shows.
This is it. You've got the indie shows as well, which you could do as well. So I think it's doable, definitely. So maybe, I don't know, we'll think about it. We'll probably one day go. You never know, all the talks of
it's my full intention.
Sorry, go on, mate.
It's my full intention to go at some point in the next few years, because it's like, if you're looking at the recent places that have held it, it's like they've been to New York, New Orleans even twice in the past few years.
Yeah.
They're going back to New York next year. They've done Florida once or twice. It's okay.
Like I say, with all the talk of foreign pay-per-views and stuff like that now, maybe not necessarily in the UK you have the WrestleMania, but you could have it somewhere closer. So,
yeah.
It's a possibility. So, it could happen. I mean, America, like I say, it's not that unaffordable now, especially if it's on the East Coast.
Well, that's it, and it's like, I've been to New York before. I'd love to go again. But I'd just be there. I think it's more that thing for me of like, you've got the full. It's a load of wrestling fans together in one area.
Yeah, it's going to be mental. I mean, I keep talking about going to Le Mans. I mean, I think you and Lewis, I think you'll find it enough to pull your hair out, your teeth out, and everything like that. You know, just sitting there watching motorsport. But I don't know. I've been to Silverstone twice, and I wish obviously I could have gone more. As a motorsport fan, I've not really been to much motor racing live. I mean, I've watched the rallying on the front every now and again, and I've mostly watch it on the TV. But on my bucket list is to go to the Le Mans 24 Hours and sit there and watch it. You know, actually in the stands and what have you. But I'd imagine the thought of that for you two would be enough to make your head repeatedly smash off the keyboard.
Well, as long as I had enough, as long as I had a charging kit and enough content saved to me Netflix account so I can watch stuff offline, I'll be absolutely fine. No, just look up every now and then.
Absolutely. But I've always maintained this, for example, people who don't watch football, they'll go to a football match and they'll really admit that it's better than watching it live. The atmosphere at a racing event is completely different than watching it on telly. It looks dead sterile on the TV. But when you're there, you can tell how dirty it actually is. Because when I was sat there in the grandstand, obviously I was watching, I think it was the Renault 3.5 series, which is now extinct. But you could actually smell the cars. They were burning the fuel and things like that. You could actually, as they were going past you could smell them. And obviously when they were locking up, you could smell the tyre smoke and the noise as well is something else. I mean, on TV, they've got the noise levels down, something shocking. Now, one day I'll show you, I could send you the link on YouTube, of me taking a video of one F1 car going past me on at Silverstone. It actually nearly corrupted the file. It was that loud. So
I can believe that.
And the car went past, and we were sat on one of the main grandstands, and it shook the entire grandstand. One car, the whole grandstand shook. You could feel it. You could feel it in the grandstand moving. So it's completely different. Completely different when you're there. So yeah, I can't say don't try it even if you're not a motorsport fan. I think you do have to go to it one day just to see it live and experience it. It's something else. It really is.
I'm just reading up now. I've clicked a link that's about where possible future host cities for Mania over the next few years, and it's saying about LA, Minneapolis, and Vegas have all put like bids in to host.
You see, I don't think we're going to get a WrestleMania, but because of lineage and history, I think we've got a good chance of getting a SummerSlam.
Possibly, but
I think we'll get a SummerSlam before we get a WrestleMania. Possibly as a water tester.
I'm scrolling down now, and someone's commented saying, "I see them rotating the same places since their tourist destinations: Texas, Florida, Louisiana, New York, Vegas, and California, all for Maine." So, which just leaves me to say, Julia.
Jesus, they have had one in Canada before, haven't they?
That was only once, and that was WrestleMania 6, and they haven't been back since. No, twice actually. Sorry,
18 as well.
Yeah.
This is
So,
it. So
the only 2 times they've been to Canada.
this is it. So I think they're due another excursion abroad. But even Americans miss the British pay-per-views. They had their own different little flavour to them, didn't they? So, British crowds and all that jazz.
It's that thing though. Like you look at Rebellion or Insurrection, and it was always like main event, like triple threat, Triple H versus Steve Austin versus The Rock with the title on the line. It's like they ain't losing it.
No, you're right. It was a glorified house show. End of the day, it's more like it was like the Greatest Royal Rumble before the Greatest Royal Rumble was a thing.
The thing is, you wouldn't be that bothered as long as the wrestling was good. but about 7 times out of 10, they're just going through the motions.
Yeah, they didn't even phone it in; they faxed it in. Yeah, I've got, like I say, I've got one of the. I think I've got Rebellion 2001 in the middle of the. I think it was in the middle of the invasion angle, and I believe we did. We watch it, Coxie?
No.
I think I'm not sure if we did a review on it on Lost Art of Wrestling or not.
Oh, I'd remember if we did, and I think we've talked about it before, and like the show's been, but it's we've no, we haven't actually sat them down and watched it properly or anything.
Might have to do that one day. But yeah, I thought it was all right, that show. Obviously, it didn't have the feel of a full blown show, like a full blown pay per view. But it was all right. It was what it was. But yeah, I think they're due pay per view over. I mean, they're doing in a way they are doing like one because they're doing the UK tournament again. So, which is straight,
Again, I read something just while you were talking. I think you were munching on your kebab or something before, saying Trips is going to be announcing plans for the UK brand going forward at the Royal Albert Hall shows.
There needs to be something done because
well, he says in the article, he's not sort of it's not going as fast as it's not progressing as fast or whatever as he was hoping it.
It's the reason why they're saying that is because after it's because like ITV called off their interest in World of Sport, but now they're back in. WWE are shitting the bricks, thinking, "Oh God, we've got to get our fingers into this pie."
Hence the second UK tournament.
Yes, exactly.
Because the UK tournament was done at a very similar time to the World of Sport pilot, if you remember.
It was a couple of months after, wasn't
it? January, weren't it?
Yeah.
UK tournament, and the pilot was done on New Year's Eve of 2016. Yeah. So it was literally within a couple of weeks. Because it was aired, and then literally, was it like the second to last week in December they announced it?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh my God, I've got to get tickets, and the next day they were gone, and I was nearly crying. But yeah, on that bombshell, I think we need to start wrapping up. We've done 2 hours and 2 minutes, so...
Should we briefly sum up Infinity War?
Oh God, yeah, we can't lose that.
That's one thing I said that we'll talk about briefly, and now about an hour 45 minutes later, here we are.
This is it. So yeah, we all saw Infinity War.
Yeah.
Midnight showing, first ever midnight showing for me of anything.
First midnight showing for me, and it's always my favourite way to watch a movie that I always like. Watching it pretty much before anybody else can spoil it for me.
And on that note, going forward, there will be spoilers. So, if you've not watched Infinity War and you want to watch Infinity War, this is your 10-second warning to turn this off. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Spoiler away. Spoiler away.
It's Titus O'Neill. Ah! Here it comes. He slips over, bashed into Thanos. His gauntlet comes off. The end.
Oh God! Don't get me started on Titus O'Neill memes. My favourite one was the one where he falls into the drain and it's there.
Yeah. Hi, Titus.
Oh God. But yeah, Infinity War.
Yeah, it was fucking great as far as I'm concerned.
Well, how much of a Marvel fan are you, Lewis?
I'm as much as a Marvel fan as I've seen all the movies. I only know sort of little bits about the comics, but it's like straight after the screening, as I was giving Coxie and Alan a lift home, I was having to ask Alan sort of certain as much information I could get without anything being majorly spoiled for me.
Aye.
So, yeah, I'm much more informed than I was when I came out of the movie theatre of what could potentially happen in the sequel.
So the movie made you want to know more, in a way?
Yes.
So yeah, that was obviously a massive positive experience for you then.
Yeah, well, I mean, sort of like with the end credit scene before Nick Fury dissolving away, who was one of many characters who dissolved away into nothingness.
Yes, which is becoming a meme, by the way.
Yeah. My particular favourite one is Bill Gates and the Microsoft logo. The Microsoft logo going, "I don't feel so good." And then it literally just being the Microsoft logo, where it sort of starts to fade.
Oh, God. No,
that's probably my favourite.
I remember seeing a meme, so it was like, like the 4-window sort of thing. Which is your favourite character? And it was just 4 piles of ash. It was like, whoa. Fucking hell.
So yeah, the symbol that appears off of Nick Fury's last call for help, I didn't realise who it was. I researched.
I didn't. I believe I asked Coxie in the cinema what it was, and I don't think you gave me an answer, did you, mate?
I wasn't sure myself because it's one of those they've left it so that people you either know or you don't, or it's sort of you're gonna go and research it.
Which is what I did. Which
is what many people did. It was basically the symbol for Captain Marvel, which makes sense because the Captain Marvel movie is coming out just before Infinity War next year.
Yeah.
And I asked Alan what the basis of Captain Marvel is. She is basically what she was basically going to be the replacement for Captain America, because Captain America in the comics was originally one of the people who was part of the cleansing process of Thanos' dastardly plan. So she's basically sort of like a super soldier, but to the next level. So she's like the ultimate Avenger. So yeah, what I've been told is like every one of the survivors plus anyone who was left out of the court are meant to be sort of like the emphasis of reversing the events of what's happened and just sort of like getting the whole world back on track. But obviously they can deviate from what they've done in the comic books.
Well, yeah.
But one of the great things about going to the live screenings, as much as I'd ragged on about it at the time, was hearing the reactions of everybody else in the studio. Yeah. It was so good to sort of like be in a cinema with people who were so passionate and so enthusiastic about it. Given to the point where I started being one of those people as the film was wrapping up. Particularly when certain characters that I really liked started fading away, I was just like, "Oh, for fuck's sake, really?"
Yeah, I mean,
come on.
Oh God, I mean, I was originally mad. I was like, "Oh, for fuck's sake, what's going?" By the end of it, you're like, "Do you know what? That made the film."
Yeah,
it made the film so much better. These people have got so much passion that they're clapping, and when a certain character appeared, there was a round of applause. It was like, why? And then you think back, you think, it made it so much better. It's like it made it feel like such a big event. Obviously, it was, but me being unknowledgeable was like, okay. It helped me in a way realise that this certain character was a main event, a big deal.
I'll give it to you this way. I have not reacted as sort of like dumbstruck and shock since like a major like shock moment in Game of Thrones. That's how sort of like big it was for me personally.
Yeah.
I only ever react that way to like Game of Thrones stuff and certain other things, but they're few and far between. But it's mainly Game of Thrones.
It's that thing I always find, especially that the any sort of comic book show like midnight show, and especially Marvel stuff. You always get the people who are in the diehard fans who they'll cheer and they'll clap and all that sort of thing. Especially when, like, spoiler alert, Captain America appears and everyone just clapping and cheering, going, yeah! Because, like, he sort of made a bit of a badass entrance. It was like, okay, that's pretty neat. And even, like, when the actual film started, everyone was, like, clapping and cheering. And I went to a showing less than about 12 hours later, and there's only about 50 people on the screen, but no reaction.
Yeah, it was. You realise people have been looking forward to that. At that point, it was like, yeah, people are fucking pumped for this movie.
The night for me was summed up when Coxie was literally getting out of the car and he went, "So, same time next year, guys?" I was like, "Fuck yeah!"
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
There was. If you get there's like a special edition Sin City DVD. I think it's on the Blu-ray as well, where there's like an alternative commentary, which is like the Texas premiere, which has like a live audience, and the audience have been recorded. So someone gets shot or killed or something. No, yeah, Popper like going mental.
Oh, I need to hear that. That'd be cool.
Stuff, and it's like. So. It's and
then the realization hits in that the shot wasn't from the movie; it was from the actual theatre.
Oh, fucking hell, man!
This is
the timing could not have been more perfect.
Jesus Christ, man!
Yeah, I'm just hoping there's a midnight showing for Deadpool. I don't think there was this time, but
see, I've actually seen Deadpool.
Deadpool 2.
Deadpool. No, I've seen Deadpool 2 yet. Obviously, it's not out yet. But I've seen Deadpool 1. Obviously going into Avengers, I was like, well, I've not seen the others.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if a midnight show for Deadpool 2. It seems like one of those films that would get a midnight show, hopefully.
I thought so. I think they're probably going to... Well, I would have thought they would do that with all Marvel films going forward. You know, possibly. I don't know. They seem a big enough deal anyway.
Well, Deadpool 2 is out on the 15th of May, according to this.
Yeah, that's what it said in the trailers.
Which is a Tuesday, but then it's gone since I have an hourly showing, which is like 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, and 9 o'clock.
So it might be sort of like one of them that you have to wait until the actual day, because they only do sort of like showtimes weekly, don't they?
Yeah. I could always pop in or ask someone. I know people that work there still, so I always pop in and ask them, or if I see them, I'll text them and ask them.
Good idea.
15th. Am I off for it? No, I'm not. I'm working. Son of a bitch.
Don't know what I'm doing. If I choose to go, I don't know. We'll see. If I can get it, I can go, I'll go. If I can't, then we'll see. I've got wedding to pay for, so we'll see. But yeah, talking of like reactions and things, the one that probably, probably the event at the end that shocked me was the Spider-Man one. I thought, obviously, me being, obviously not being very knowledgeable, obviously thought Spider-Man was one of the main guys, obviously one of the big deal, but obviously I didn't expect him to go at the end like that.
I had a feeling, given that, there was the same shot just before Spider-Man faded in the trailer of Spider-Man saying, "I'm sorry." So I had a feeling that sort of like if it wasn't going to be sort of like a brutal blow, that sort of like as everybody else was sort of like disintegrating away, it was just sort of like, oh, he's going, isn't he? And then he did. It was like, fuck.
Yeah, people in the theatre was like, oh no.
But I find it interesting as well, where Doctor Strange gave Thanos the Time Stone. And I remember at the time going, what the fuck are you doing, you stupid fucking idiot? And then literally as soon as they went to, I think it was Quill, Chris Pratt's character, went, why the fuck did you give him the Time Stone? And Doctor Strange goes, because it was the only way. Because beforehand, he'd gone through like his meditative state of going through 40 million different outcomes, and like the only possible the only time that they were victorious was the one time. So
and that
maybe
one
this
time gave the stone up.
Yeah, everybody still died regardless. So there will be more pages to turn. There will be more for this story to go on, and I am very much looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward to it. I mean, I'm definitely going to do it again next year.
Well, it's like you said on Facebook. It's pretty much made a Marvel fan of you, hasn't it, Paul?
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously, I'm going to go and try and look through, but we got plans for that. We got plans.
We've got plans, aka getting geeked.
Getting geeked, yeah.
It's a big stuff going on.
That's a big stuff. I've got speaking of big stuff, and I've got a dog sat between my legs.
So if you go,
I want to go to bed.
If you got the website www.didthanoskill.me, it'll tell you if you were slain or saved.
I've been on it. I was saved.
Oh,
I was slain.
You were slain. That means I'll take over Lost Daughter podcasting for you. Don't worry.
What was it? Thanos.
Did Thanos
spare you or something?
Did Thanos kill.me?
All right.
Kill.me. I was slain.
I'm still alive.
Still slain. I'm refreshing. Still slain. Still slain. Still slain. You fucking purple.
I'm going to check it now as well. Did Thanos kill me? Did Thanos... What? Did Thanos
kill.me?
Kill.me. Oh. I was slain by Thanos for the good of the universe. So it's random, but I did it on Facebook and one of the groups I thought, and I was saved, so I don't know.
Welcome to the ash pile, Paul.
Absolutely. We can all, pollute the world together. And on that bombshell, I think we need to start leaving, because it's past my bedtime.
It's past my bedtime. I'm up at 10 to 5 for work.
Oh, have fun with that.
Huzzah.
Coxie, give yourself some plugs.
Of course, as usual, find the Lost Daughter podcast on Facebook, Twitter.
Can I just stop you there for a second? The dog has literally come over to me between my legs. Obviously, I've just said that. The dog has literally just farted and walked away.
Good girl.
Sorry, Coxie, as you were.
You can do a plug for a gas mask, Paul. You're fine.
Yeah, so find us on Facebook, Twitter, Lost Daughter
podcast. Sorry, Coxie, I'll put you off.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have. I can tell from here.
But of course, Patreon, we're going to be, any new episodes go up at least 2 days earlier before everyone else gets them. Yeah. So if you want that exclusivity, get paying. And of course, we're on all good podcatchers.
Mm-hmm. Lewis, I know I always ask you this, mate. I think I know what the response is going to be. You got anything you want to plug?
Can't really think of anything. One of my other favourite podcasts, OSW Review, have done a review of WrestleMania with Matthew Botchamania. If you go and search for them on Facebook or Twitter, go check the episode out. It might get some more fans of Noggy University. They've also got a Patreon there. I'm about probably like 40 minutes into that particular episode. So OSW, always a good source of entertainment. They've got an entire back catalogue of episodes, so go check them out.
Absolutely. Obviously, we've also, you can find us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/UKRAD podcast. We're on Twitter at UKRAD podcast. Where else are we at? I have this written down. You can find us obviously on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spreaker, YouTube, and all other good podcast catchers. Hopefully Spotify soon as well. Obviously, don't forget Mystery Island at facebook.com /back to the island. There's These People Podcast at www.thesepeoplepodcast.com. They're also on Facebook at facebook.com /These People Podcast. Our also good friends Casa Mirth podcast. They're at www.casamirth.com. Facebook is at facebook.com/Casa Mirth podcast. And also our friends Dave at Mooch TV. He's at www.youtube.com/Mooch TV. He's also on Facebook at facebook.com/Mooch TV. Don't forget. Yep. Also, don't forget, we are also on Patreon. There is no content on there just yet, but there will be very soon. I have some possible ideas where I'm going to put the back catalogue of the old WrestleBox podcast up on Patreon, so you can hear how me, Lewis, Alan, Darren, and even Mateus got started podcasting. And you can see how we've improved or not improved or even got worse if you think. So if you want to find that out, obviously donate. $5 will give you access to that. But we're also going to start doing some solo podcasts. I'm just basically trying to, work it out where I can just ramble on for an hour on my own. We're getting there though. We're getting there. But I'm trying to think what else there is to plug, really. Obviously, just go to sudio.com if you're after a new set of headphones. Obviously, when you get to the checkout, you get to the promo code. Just put in the promo code RAD, and you'll get yourself 15% off all your total order. Good quality headphones at sudio.com. I think that's it. Anything else you want to add, guys, before we fuck off, basically?
Nope.
I'm good.
Alright, and in that case, thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for being on the show.
Thank you, as always.
Joe, what would you say about you two? Right, I'm off. So I've been Paul the Hat Guy Flinders.
I've been Scar Swan Lewis Ogden.
I've just been lost somewhere.
Yeah, we'll find him.
I'll get you GPS for your birthday.
Google Maps. Google Maps is the answer. If they update. And on that note, we're off, skis. Have a good evening. We'll see you soon. Thank you and good night.
Bye.
Take a walk down by the sea, picking up colored shells in the sand. Seagull, I want your wings, silver circus in a cloudy land. Even when the winds blow lonely, when lightning cracks the black sky's face, seagull, I can hear you calling. Time and space, I want to know how it makes you feel, the what your restless wings can't find.
This podcast is part of Britpod Scene, an independent network of uniquely British podcasts that's always growing. Check out BritpodScene.com or Britpod Scene on Twitter to find out more.